All right, so good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for joining this Meaningful Monday. To the people who have been here before, welcome back for the first Monday of every month. And to the new people that we have, a very, very warm welcome all the way from New Zealand and some other far out places. So just welcome to everyone. Just to let you know, this webinar is recorded. There are people who've SMS'd me today and can't make it. Some of them are far away in Perth and the time zone and other places they can't get on the call. So it is recorded and it will actually be uploaded to a playlist in YouTube. So if anyone has any objections, just let me know. If you don't want to appear anywhere like that, you can always put your camera off or turn your computer, like just moving the screen if it bothers you. But otherwise, it's not for advertising or publicity. It's just that we are recording these. People do use them and go back to them sometimes. So just let me know if anyone's got any issue with that. Okay, so just, as I said, a very warm welcome and Meaningful Monday. I'm going to just mute some of your lines while I'm talking, and if I ask you something, I'll unmute you. The purpose of Meaningful Monday is really just to keep a person top of mind, ideas and thoughts and principles and universal laws and concepts to keep us aware of the power that we have in creating the life that we want and how we are doing it, whether we're aware of it or not. So if you think of yourself right now in your life, whatever results you have, whether they're good, bad, a mixture, just know that these results that you have right now are a result of you as a powerful creator creating your own life. What we really want to move towards is doing this intentionally, creating the life of our own design deliberately, being focused, having a high level of self-awareness and a high level of consciousness, and trying to remain more aligned within ourselves, with our source, with what we have to do. And the more we stay within that focus, the better and better your life becomes. So tonight, the lesson is following your inner voice. So following your inner voice, for some, you may think I'm talking about intuition. Probably, yes, I am. For others, you may be thinking I'm talking about a little voice in your head. Well, also, yes, I am. It's a combination of these two. However, I'm going to be saying some things tonight that you may potentially say to yourself, I know this. I've heard this before. It's not new. I'm here to remind you that the biggest gap in the world is that between what we know and what we do. Because if we all knew it all and practiced it all 24 hours a day or whenever we're awake, our lives would be perfect. No one's life is really perfect. We're on a journey of self-discovery, constant improvement, transformation, personal growth until we get where we really want to be. So this quote by Louise Hay, who's really she's a person who's really inspired me in a great way. I've got many people who've inspired me. I'm focusing on Louise Hay. I said this on last month's call as well, because I used some information from her book in the last month's call. Why I'm inspired by Louise Hay is she never had it easy. She had it really rough. She got sick. She got cancer. She was abused as a child. And she really only came into her power very late in her life. And through working on herself and working on her mind, she completely got rid of her cancer. But she understood she had to get rid of inner resentment and hatred and blame issues. Even though she could have an operation or surgery to get the cancer to be removed, she would have brought it back unless she cleared up her inside energy. And then from then, Louise Hay's career took off, and she actually only found her dream purpose in life at about 60. She started Hay House, the biggest publishing house in the world. And she was at the top of her career here, this at 80 years of age. So for me, she's a massive inspiration. And she even wrote her last book at 89. She passed on recently. So this quote here is so simple. It says, the thoughts we choose to think are the tools we use to paint the canvas of our lives. Now, for many of you, you may have heard this before. Maybe some of you haven't heard it before. When I first heard this idea that our thoughts or our thinking is creating our lives was really back in about 2006 when I watched the movie The Secret. And at the time, even though I didn't really understand this concept, it touched a place in me that I refer to as my intuition or my inner voice. I got goose pimples, and I realized that, or what I call spiritual chills, I realized that it was truth. As much as I didn't really understand how it worked, I knew intuitively it was truth. And this is the focus of what I'm going to talk about tonight, because as I said earlier, as much as we know something, we don't necessarily practice it. So I'm sure all of you listening here would probably say to me, Jeanine, I know our thoughts create our lives. And I'm saying, great, thank you. That's tick number one. But let's get a bit deeper to really, really consider, what are we doing? Are we really that aware of what we're doing with our thoughts? And I'm going to narrow it down tonight and come to a very specific idea of the thoughts that we think. Okay, so just to say, for me, once I heard this truth that your thoughts create your life, it's the tools that we paint this canvas of our lives. Once I really learned that, then the journey began for me, or this, what I call the adventure began for me. Like, if I want different results, I need to change my thinking. But the question is, how do you actually change your thinking? Because your thinking is something, to be honest, you're not very aware of. None of us, not myself, not you, unless you practice this awareness. So how do we change our thinking? Because we know that if we do change our thinking, we do change our results. We do change our lives. Wayne Dyer has actually written a book, and the title of the book is right there. It says, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. And that's why congratulations to all of you. And I commend you all for joining this webinar tonight, because it shows that you have an intention to improve your lives. And the more you listen to messages like these are thoughts. Whilst you're listening here, there are thoughts going on in your head. This very moment, just listening to this webinar is helping you to improve your life. And if you did this regularly, every day, some message from some inspirational person to help you, the more you put inside your mind, the more you're going to make positive changes. So my question here is, what is not helping my thinking? Just ask yourself that. Just be still for a second and actually ask yourself, what is not helping my thinking? Because your thinking is creating your life. So questions like, what thoughts do you have that are not in harmony with what you want? Just think about that. How many thoughts go through your mind about things you're worrying about, situations that you don't really like that are going on right now, things that you wish were different, whether it be money, health, work, family, other relationships, spirituality, time for yourself, whatever it may be. What thoughts are you having that are not in harmony with the life that you really want? Because as much as we know the theoretical, intellectual quote I just put up there of Louise Hay, that our thoughts are creating our life, as much as we know this, are we really aware of the thoughts that we're still thinking all the time when we're in a state of frustration or a state of stress or a state of worry, a state of guilt, a state of anger or resentment? I love the term, this comes from Esther Hicks. She says, she asks, am I a cooperative component in creating the life that I want to live? I love that term, a cooperative component. So where are your thoughts? Are your thoughts throughout the day and even at night, are they a cooperative component in creating the life that you really want? So tonight, what I'm going to do in this call is I'm going to narrow it down to a very specific thought pattern that is very, very destructive and really keeps you from getting what you want. And this particular thought pattern that I'm focusing on tonight is all about negative self-talk or self-criticism. We sometimes don't pay attention, or I'll say most often we pay the least attention to the negative self-talk. We'll probably become aware first of other negative thoughts we have about, I shouldn't think about poverty consciousness, I should be abundant consciousness, or, I shouldn't say this, I should rather say that. But when it comes to what we're actually saying about ourselves, the thoughts we have about us, we tend not to be that strict. So it's all about self-criticism and how destructive this thought pattern can be. Now, I've got here beware. Beware. So beware, of course, means beware, like there's danger coming, but it also is like be aware. Be aware of self-criticism. It's dangerous. It's very risky. It is affecting your life. It is changing results that you want. It's blocking you. It's keeping you stuck. There are probably things that you do want and you wonder why you can't manifest them. What's taking so long? This that I'm talking about tonight is a key and important factor. So here are a couple of quotes. The first one, I love this, by Vincent van Gogh himself. If you hear a voice within you say, you cannot paint, then by all means paint, and that voice will be silenced. The reason I've chose this quote is because the truth is you have infinite potential. We're born this way. We are created by an infinite source, and we are an extension of that source, and we have infinite potential. When we ever tell ourselves or think to ourselves, there's something that I cannot do, we are limiting ourselves and blocking the opportunity to develop that potential and, amazing ourselves in what we can do. And there's so much that we can do. So that's the one quote. And the other one is this: beware of no man more than of yourself. We carry our worst enemies within us. This is so true. The worst enemies that you have in your life are within ourselves. They're never outside. They really are within. And I always, use this term when I do weekend retreats. I tell people that I'm an assassinator. I've been an assassinator in my own life of my own gremlins and my own negative self-talk, my own fears. And what I do, anyone who knows me quite well will know, if you're in my company, I will not tolerate you speaking down on yourself. I'll not tolerate you running yourself down. It's just to create this awareness that the worst enemies we have are ourselves. And it's the things that we say to ourselves in our mind without even really being fully aware. So I'm talking about that little voice inside that consistently finds something wrong with you. And it's really very unfair of ourselves to do this. And I'll just put up some of the ideas that are most common. Thoughts like, I'm not rich enough, I'm not thin enough, I'm not popular enough, I'm not smart enough, I'm not successful enough. Right now, as you think of your life where you are right now, which one of these statements is a thought that pops in your own head? Be honest with yourself. Be very honest. If you ever have a thought in any day in this last month that was any one of these things, the only reason I'm mentioning it is to kindly bring you to an awareness. Or what about thoughts like, don't make a mistake, get it right? How important is it for you to have this thought throughout your day, whatever you're doing? Don't make a mistake, don't make a mistake, get it right. That we have such a fear that if we make a mistake that maybe we're a failure, or I don't know, we're less than. Or this idea perhaps that asking for help may be a sign of weakness. You want to try and do as much as we can wherever we are without asking for help. And we really go to the last resort if we have to ask for help, but it's not something that we naturally feel comfortable to do. These are all voices in our heads that are not healthy. Here's another one. Asking a question means I'm stupid. Do you know how many people feel silly and they actually say, do you mind if I ask a silly question? And I always say, there's no such thing as a silly question. Because if you don't know something, it's a clever question because you're going to get the answer and you're going to find out, and then you'll be smarter than you were without asking the question. So there's no silly question. So never think, asking a question means I'm stupid. Or what about this one? To like me is to agree with me. I was having a conversation with someone I do business with, and from time to time we don't agree. But we have an understanding. It's got nothing to do with whether we like each other. We like each other. We respect each other. We do great work together. Do we always agree? No. But there was a time in my life where I felt if someone's not agreeing with me, this is not good. There's going to be disharmony. There's going to be, like bad vibes. No, this is a thought. This is a belief that we hold. What about this one? If you have any good ideas, then you're better than me. This often shows up in the workplace. People get into a boardroom. They have a meeting about some particular subject. As people start sharing ideas, the one who's not sharing the ideas, for some reason, feels inferior. Where does this come from? Is it truth? It's not truth at all. So I'm just making you people here aware of this little voice inside that's finding things wrong. And the truth is, many people can't seem to shrug that inner voice. As much as they want to, it's in their head. It's such an ingrained habit. It's been around for so long, and they can't seem to actually shrug it. But the truth is, we do need to be kind to ourselves. We actually need to talk to ourselves like a very small child that's been traumatized. And the good news is that when we have a kind voice to ourselves and we reassure ourselves and we give ourselves positive affirmations, especially in meditation, that kind voice becomes stronger and stronger. And the more we practice this, the more we slowly start changing that old programming in our subconscious mind and putting in these impressions of kind, positive self-talk that perhaps may just make you a little bit more aware when you're having this negative self-talk that, oh, oops, I'm on the wrong road. Let me stop this train of thought that I'm having. So I just want to add a couple of points. The one is, don't blame yourself in any way if any of these points or quotes or whatever statements on this slide are true, ring true for you. Don't blame yourself or think, geez, man, I'm an idiot. These are my thoughts, or I'm not good enough, or it's because of my damn thoughts that I've got these issues. Don't do that. Don't ever blame yourself, because the minute you start blaming yourself, you're just going to make it actually worse. You're beating yourself up even further. So the power that you should have, you should feel self-empowered to change your life. You don't want to break that down and make it even worse. And remember that blame, whether it's blaming ourselves or blaming someone else, we give our power away. This is important. If you're making notes, write that down. When you blame yourself or anyone else, you give your power away. Rather, step back, have a look at this and say, yep, I'm so thankful for this awareness. Many of these statements are me from time to time, but you're not going to blame. What you're going to do is you're going to take responsibility. When we take responsibility and say, everything in my life I have created, the good, the bad, the ugly, the beautiful, I have created. When you take full responsibility, you are empowered. So blame takes away power, responsibility empowers. Now, just that you're aware, and I'm sure you know this, your thoughts are creating your reality. Your thoughts are creating your future. So any of these thoughts that are on the screen there, if they ever similar or the same or different that come through your mind that are negative, whatever they are is actually creating your future. So for example, any thought about I don't have enough money, or I'm not rich enough, or whatever it may be, is creating this situation that gives you this perception. Or I'm not successful enough. it's creating the reality that's giving you this perception that you're not successful enough. You have to stop that thought. This negative thought, no matter how you phrase it, no matter how you try and think it, is never going to create a positive result that you want. And this is why in this lesson I decided to narrow down on what kind of thinking is bad for us. So the point is, quit running yourself down. Even quit hanging around with other people who bring you down. Quit negative news. I don't know about your life, but many, many years ago, I'm talking about many years, from probably the 90s already. I'm a bit weird. I don't watch the news. I watch the news as like once a month at the most, and it's only a little bit. I don't read the newspaper. I was picked out at work in my corporate life about not being up to date. I didn't read the newspaper, and you should read it. I just don't want to read bad news. I can't change things with reading bad news, but I can make a positive impact if I'm filling my mind with positive thoughts, if I'm filling my mind with inspiring ideas, if I'm being aware of uplifting other people who may be in a lower place than me. That's the impact I can make. That's the benefit I can make. And I want the same for you in your mind, to think about reading positive things daily. Choose people around you that really uplift you. Make positivity happen for you, whatever it is. If it's music, listening to some YouTube thing on the way to work, in your car, or some audio program. So initiate these positive ideas, create them, innovate, do whatever you need, but quit running yourself down and quit listening to your negative talk. So as we go through life and we don't get what we want, this happens to every one of us. Me, you, there's not a single person who has a wish or desire, a goal, an aspiration, and hopefully they have some formula for creating it. If you don't, well, I'm a trainer of the Silva method. All of you know, I think there's someone on the call, there's a phone number. I'm not sure who that is. It might be Marie. Just let me ask. Marie, is that you? Or who's on the phone tonight?
It's not me.
Who is it? What's your name?
Me, Jen.
It's Laurel.
Oh, Laurel, welcome. Okay, so Laurel. So all of you know what the Silva method, welcome Laurel. We know what the Silva method is. So that's a formula you can use. We have them in the Silva method. Mirror of the mind is one great one, or hollow viewing, where we do create what we want. But what happens when we don't get what we want? And I'm a perfect example of this. I programmed for a change in my life that I so desperately wanted. You've got no idea. I was in like the worst place ever. I was going out of my tree. I became so anxious and stressed and physically sick. And after 18 months of being in this black place, dark and stressful and sick, I'd had enough. I didn't know what to do. Now, I was programming. So what do you do when we don't get what we want? So my question is, this is very important for you. I need you to start thinking about yourselves. What do you do when you don't get what you want? Do you blame yourself that maybe I'm not programming correctly or meditating or visualizing? Do you blame yourself? Or do you blame others? This job is just terrible and it's not allowing me to be happy, or my spouse is always doing X, Y, and Z and it just upsets me, or someone else, or I don't know, whoever it is. Is it blaming yourself or blaming others? Or do you perhaps think, you know, maybe I'm not really worthy of having this dream life, or maybe I'm just not deserving. Maybe this is for other people who are better than me. Do you have thoughts like that? Or do we settle? This has got to be the worst of them all, is to settle and say, well, this is my lot in life. That's it. I need to just accept it. No, I'm telling you, no, you don't. But I need to ask you, are those some of the responses? Just be aware of them, because I want to raise another one, which is probably a blind spot for all of you. But let me just say this first. We are not victims. Everything we experience is a result of our thoughts. So, you know, this thing about blame dialogue is probably giving more negative momentum to a situation which you already don't want to perpetuate, or feeling unworthy or not deserving, or think you're going to just settle for it, bringing yourself down and forgetting the power that you have to create. No, there's something that's blocking you potentially that you just haven't uncovered. There's just something. It's a tiny something. When you understand what that block is, whatever it may be, you can change it. And just by the way, one of them that's most common is this feeling of being unworthy. People don't know it. It's a deep subconscious thought way far away from your conscious awareness. You most likely don't know it. As a precaution, as a suggestion, I would use this exercise. I'll just give it to you right now. Someone gave it to me years ago. It was a meditation swami in South Africa. He just said, take a foolscap page every morning. When you do your meditation, you finish, or before, whenever you want, just write one sentence, the whole foolscap page. And the sentence was, I am worthy of fulfilling all my desires. It sounds so simplistic. It sounds so, really? Like, is that going to do anything? But you know, writing two places. We write on paper and we write in the subconscious. We write on paper, write in the subconscious. If you repeatedly put into your subconscious mind, I am worthy. I am worthy of fulfilling all my desires. It can help you overwrite a potential limiting belief that you have that you may not even be aware of. And the truth is, wherever it comes from is so far away, perhaps you may not even remember it. So that's just one clue for you. But what I want to bring you to now is there's another something which could be a blind spot or a block for not getting what you want. And this is it. It's a bit left field, but I'm going to bring it up here. Have you ever considered it could be resentment? This is very important. It could be resentment. You know, sometimes when we think about manifesting, it's got to be the right programming. I've got to be in the right meditative state. I've got to have the right visualization. I've got to do repeatedly. I've got to have emotion. And as long as all those things are going, awesome. Okay, that's great. You're making impressions in the subconscious mind. But the difference between making the impressions, asking for what you want, and having it actually show up is to do with your vibration. It's to do with your mood. It's to do with your attitude. It's to do with your mind, your feelings, your thoughts. That's what decides if you will allow it to manifest in your life or not. Because if you program, but are a bit mizzy most of the day, or pissed off with someone or something, or something's niggling at you that's been niggling at you for years or whatever it is, this, my friends, is standing in the way of you allowing this thing to show up. Because the minute you have a desire, it's in the Bible, ask and it is given. It's the title of Abraham Hicks's book. And they say, once you ask or have this thought that you want something, it's like in its process to manifest. It's already on its way. When it shows up is determined by you. Not the universe, not God, not your brother, not your sister, not your anything. You. And what of you is it? It's how you feel. And resentment is a massive blind spot for people. So I'm just mentioning this. I've mentioned even in other lessons on Meaningful Monday, I repeatedly bring this up. And probably because personally in my own life, I know how this has released joy, freedom, love in my own life. Picking out things of resentment and making a concerted effort to let them go. So my friends, I've got this big, beautiful heading on the next slide, which says, be strong and forgive. Strong. Because it takes strength. It takes more of you. It's asking more of you to forgive than to hold resentment. So this quote says, the truth is, unless you let go, unless you forgive yourself, first and foremost, unless you forgive the situation, unless you realize that the situation is over, you cannot move forward. So I'm just letting you know, it's like a dead weight, like a shackle around your ankle. You want to leap forward, you want to live a great life, you want great things. This is a dead weight just holding you back. And it says here, it takes a lot more courage to let something go than it does to hang on to it, trying to make it better. Letting go doesn't mean ignoring a situation. Letting go means accepting what is, exactly as it is, without fear, resistance, or a struggle for control. Without fear, resistance, no resistance, just let it go. And no struggle for control. Most of the things that upset us is because we want to control them and they're out of our control. Just think this logically. Anything that upsets you is because they're not playing out the way you want them to play out. They're not as you would like it to be. Any negative emotion, give me any negative emotion. The reason is things are not the way you want them. If it's grief, you didn't want the person to die. If it's anger, you didn't want the person to say that. If it's jealousy, you didn't want so-and-so to behave that way. If it's frustration, the person should have said what they said or did that. Any negative emotion is because we didn't want that situation to be that way. So we need to, this thing about accept, we need to, like, letting go means accepting what is. That's the first step, accept it. Just say, it is what it is. That's the best, it is what it is. The best 5 words you could use to help you step forward. It is what it is. And then you've got to let it go. Now it says here by Gandhi, who I absolutely adore, and I've learned so much more about Gandhi reading this book I'm reading now, The Autobiography of a Yogi. I've seen his own life story, his movie, but I've got more respect for him ever now than I did before. Anyway, he says, the weak can never forgive. Forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. Seriously, I mean, if you want a very extreme example, look at the life of Jesus. And you tell me a person who's at that very last hour before they die, being nailed to the cross, and he's forgiving those people, you tell me that's a weak person or a strong person. That's a strong person. So forgiveness is the attribute of the strong. So that's my message. Be strong and forgive, because this could be a block for you. Now I've got here, grasp but don't practice. This whole idea of thoughts become things, of thoughts creating your reality. I know each and every one of you grasp this. I know all of you, except Cindy. I've only got to know her just very recently, but even the emails that you write me, I know that you know this. Everyone else sitting, I know you know this. Your thoughts become realities, but is it something maybe that we don't practice? This is why I'm holding these Meaningful Mondays. It's just to repeatedly bang on a similar drum on different themes, but the higher your awareness, the more propensity there is for change for you in your life, getting what you want. So Louise Hay says, I do not fix problems. I fix my thinking. I fix my thinking. That's all you have to worry about. Just fix your thinking. Every problem or thing that you have in your life that you don't want or you want to change, just fix your thinking. And the problem will fix itself. I'll give you a perfect example of this. Some of you may have heard this before. That terrible year of my life when I was not very happy, I was in a corporate job, I was going on a downward spiral, it wasn't a nice place at all. I was in such a bad place, and the only thought I had in my head was, I really hate this. Now, I was visualizing, I was listening to Mike Dooley, I was doing this, I was doing that, Wayne Dyer. I had audiobooks, I had programs, I was watching The Secret, I was reading books, Bob Proctor, whatever it was. But I still was thinking every day that I hate this job. Going to work, being there, going home, something wouldn't work out. And when I got the Silva Method home study program, I don't know where it was in that program, but something clicked in my head, just snapped, and it said to me, what thought are you holding about the thing you so much want to change? And I thought, it's this job. It's like driving me nuts. Cancel. I don't like it. I hate it. Everything's wrong with it. And I thought, this thought that I have is the creator of this reality I'm in. And the more I used to think these thoughts or worry about it, the more I was creating it. So what did I expect? To program every day, but have a thought that I hate my job, hoping that my job's going to change just because I'm visualizing? This is really an important point. It's the thoughts you have that are negative about the situation that need to change. So then what I did was, I just used to say, I absolutely love my job. I didn't initially at all. It was the furthest thing from the truth. I'm not saying, in your life, fake it till you make it. But in this regard with thoughts about things you don't want, what other option do you have to eradicate a negative thought to create the life that you want? But say the very opposite. Just start there. Just makes you aware that you shouldn't be saying the negative thought. So I just used to say, I absolutely love my job, without kidding you, 300 to 500 times in the morning on the tram going to the office. 300 to 500 times in the tram or in the car going to the office. If I was on a tram or the train and I could close my eyes, I used to visualize loving my job. I used to just see myself smiling, being happy, high-fiving people. That was it. My friends, I kid you not, my situation turned around in 5 months. It went from the worst place I'd ever been to really riding a wave. I became the top salesperson. I loved what I was doing. I loved everything. I really, really loved my job. I was having the best time of my life. I was closing deals. I was in sales. I was building relationships. I was doing public speaking. I was going to big conventions. I loved it. It was exactly the same job. This point is so important. I didn't change the boss, the clients, the paperwork, the systems, the information I had to learn. I changed my thoughts about it. I changed me. So this thing about thoughts, it's the beginning, it's the be-all, and it's the end-all. Okay. So some of you may have heard this term before. This comes from Mike Dooley. Thoughts become things. And when I say grasp but don't practice, maybe we do know that thoughts become things. What are we doing to practice right thoughts? For me, what changed my life was the Silva method. Most of you know what that is. I'll just put this title up here. The only reason is many, many years ago, the original name of the Silva method, which today is Silva Method Life and Intuition Systems, the original name was Silva Mind Control. That was the original name. That's the book. It was first written in 1977. Why I love the program is it's about mind control. When we can control our mind and control our thoughts, we can create anything we want. It is the catalyst for creation. So let's flip it over now from all this awareness of negative self-talk to where should we really be going with all this and how do we help ourselves? The first thing, foremost, practice self-love. That voice within. From today forward, I don't know, put your hand on your own shoulder right now and say, I commit to being better to you. I commit to just loving you a little bit more with every thought, with every word. Because my friends, that's where it starts for you. Practice that self-love. If we can really self-love, practicing it, thinking it, repeating it, you will find that even your outward relationship with other people becomes better, and you will become so much more uplifted. You'll manifest what you want. It will just flow into your life, and you'll become an inspiration for others. You'll be the person that others will change and say, what's different about you? And they'll just like being around you. If someone ever tells you that you're the most uplifting person to be around, that's a massive compliment. And the reason they're telling you that is because you have the ability to raise their vibration to meet yours. And that's a beautiful and positive thing. So love yourself. So here it goes. Love yourself enough to take the actions required for your happiness. It's not a bad thing to be selfish. It's a bad thing to be greedy, nasty, and spiteful, but selfish. There's such a misconception about it. To look after yourself and love yourself does not mean that you're bad to anyone else. You have to look after yourself. Take the actions required for your happiness. You need to fill here's a glass. You need to fill your own glass before you can be of any benefit to others. If this was my only love that I had in this glass of water, and I tipped a little bit out here for Julian, a little bit out for Cindy, a little bit out for Nancy, a little bit out for Laurel, whoever else is on this call, and this glass was empty and it runs out, I'll have nothing more to give. But if I kept filling this glass with water, it would automatically overflow, and it would spread everywhere. It would help everyone else in your family, in your workplace. So love yourself enough to take the actions required for your happiness. Ask yourself what makes you happy and do those things that you really want to do. Love yourself enough to cut yourself loose from the drama-filled past. Let it go. Be honest with yourself. Be truthful. Confront your own thoughts about drama and people that you have drama with, and cut yourself loose. Move forward. You know, yesterday ended last night. You don't have to be the person you were yesterday. Today's a new day. You can change things from now. Love yourself enough to set a high standard for relationships. Relationships out of respect. Relationships out of love, out of understanding, out of patience, out of peace, harmony, joy. Love yourself enough to feed your mind and body in a healthy manner. Here's a good opportunity. Whenever you're eating, give yourself a little affirmation in your head of self-love and say, thank you for eating so well and healthy. And you know, if you keep doing that, you would make better choices with food. Before you touch food, if you just make it a reminder, a habit for you to say, thank you for making good and healthy choices for me. You just say it in your own mind to yourself. You will make better choices. Love yourself enough to forgive yourself. When we have forgiveness to do with people who have caused us hurt, harm, betrayal, whatever it is, we need to do that. And we need to forgive ourselves. There is always an element of self-forgiveness in any situation of forgiveness. Even if it's that you've held on to this for so long, forgive yourself. We're learning. We're a work in progress. We're not perfect humans. We are perfect spiritual beings, but we're not perfect. We're programmed, and we've got imperfections, and we are a work in progress. We're getting better and better. So forgive yourself and love yourself to move on and leave all that drama and what's not healthy for you behind. So for yourselves, practice understanding, compassion, and forgiveness, both for yourself and for others. Practice deeper understanding, having more compassion. The way to have more compassion is to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And when you put yourself in someone else's shoes, you can move forward to a place of forgiveness. And just by the way, forgiveness is a process. It doesn't just happen in a heartbeat. It is a process, and you need to understand that, but keep working on it. Keep working on yourself. I just want to put this here, what Louise Hay said. She said, okay, just explain why she forgave her parents. The father used to sexually abuse her, and her mother knew about it, but never stopped it. So she had this awful resentment for the one who did it and for the one who was supporting it or allowing it. And it's like her mom and her dad. So that was caused her cancer in life. So she said, the more I forgave my parents, the more willing I was to forgive myself. How she forgave her parents was this thing of compassion. She started to study the science of the mind. She actually did the Silva method as well. And she got a hint from someone to really understand her parents' childhood. And when she understood her father was abused himself, and her mother was brought up in a very, very strict and, I don't know how to say it, like conservative and old-fashioned kind of paradigm where a woman always stands by her man. Doesn't matter if he's right or wrong, you just stand by him. You don't argue with him. You don't challenge him. So when she put herself into her mom's shoes and she realized what kind of predicament was her mother in such pain and torment, between what she knew was wrong and this feeling of being that wife that should stand by her husband, she could then get a level of compassion and forgiveness. And then she wrote, forgiveness of ourselves is enormously important. As I forgive myself, I began to trust myself. This is interesting. As I forgave myself, I began to trust myself. Do you know why that is? Can anyone guess? I'm going to open the lines. Can anyone guess what's the relationship here? What does it mean as I forgave myself, I began to trust myself? Can anyone guess? What is that relationship between trust and forgiving yourself?
Like you open up a door somehow?
Julian said, you open up a door. Yes. But can you understand that relationship, connecting the dots between how forgiving yourself and trusting yourself more are related? Any guesses? I'm going to count to 5 in my mind and then I'm going to tell you. No? Okay. Basically, if you think about, if you had to forgive, it's an intentional action step. Remember I said that you've got to be very strong to forgive. So if you have the courage to forgive and you take that step, it is a demonstration that you're taking care of yourself. And if you demonstrate that you're taking care of yourself, you will start to trust yourself more because you're taking responsibility for where you're at, what's standing in your way, and where you want to move to. And it's not easy. No one's saying forgiveness is easy. It's not. But you're strong enough to do that. You're demonstrating that to yourself, and you are developing self-trust, self-empowerment, self-reliance. You are taking 100% responsibility for where you are, where you've been, and where you want to go, the life you want to create. So my message is, don't continue the abuse. When we don't forgive ourselves, seriously, and we don't forgive others, you are just perpetuating the abuse. You're just perpetuating that whatever, torment, betrayal, injustice. And by the way, this is neuroscience. If you say something or think something negative about someone else, it's doing it to you. You can't protect your mind and your own paradigm and have negative thoughts about someone else. As you're having them, your subconscious mind can't distinguish whether it's true, not you, or someone else. It's just got hate. It's just got betrayal. It's just got injustice. You're doing it to you. That's why there's always an element of self-forgiveness with forgiveness. Now, this quote stopped me when I read this a while ago. I read this over and over and over. I can't tell you how many times I read this. I meditated on it. I thought of it. I read up on it. I Googled it until I understood this. And it might not, the penny may not drop right now, but I hope it does the way I explain it. It says here, when we don't trust life or other people, it's really because we don't trust our higher selves to take care of us. So we avoid getting hurt or letting it happen again. This is quite a big statement. It's a bit heavy, but it's important that we do know. The point of this sentence is it always is about us. It's never about someone else. So if we don't trust another person, or we don't trust life, or we don't trust a situation, it's really because deep down where we're not aware, we don't trust our higher selves to take care of us. So we just think, I'm not going to let this happen again. That's it. I'm going to just avoid it. I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to be that again. I'm not going to love like that again. I don't want to get hurt. It's actually about ourselves that we're not trusting. So everything is a reflection of ourselves. As I said in the beginning, we are our worst enemies. We are the assassins, the gremlins, the demons that we need to assassin are in our mind. They are not outside. They're not other people. And once you take these steps, the beauty, the joy, the love that's there for you is it's easier to love yourself once you trust yourself. So moving towards self-love, we've got to cascade down from this place of forgiving others, forgiving ourselves, trusting ourselves, and the bonus is automatically the consequence of self-love. And that's where we want to be. And once we make peace with ourselves on the inner level, life starts to flow for you. Abundance flows into your life. Money, better relationships, the right people to help you, whatever it is, flows into your life. Better health. When Louise Hay forgave her parents and went through a massive process, she cured her cancer herself. No surgery, no nothing. And that's the beauty of it. So just some quick words here from wise words from Louise Hay. No matter where you are in life, no matter what you've contributed to creating, doesn't matter if it's good or bad, no matter what's happening, you are always doing the best you can with the understanding and awareness and knowledge that you have. And when you know more, you will do differently. So don't berate yourself for where you are. Don't blame yourself for not doing it faster. Don't blame yourself for not doing it better. Say to yourself, I'm doing the best I can. Acknowledge it. Give yourself a pat on the shoulder. Give yourself a hug. I don't know. Just say to yourself, I'm doing the best I can, because you are. And even though I'm in a pickle right now, I will get out of it somehow. So let's find the best place to do it. Okay, it may not be that exact sentence. The fact is, acknowledge you're doing the best from where you are. And as you listen to lessons like these or other people's and read, your awareness goes up and you start to change and grow. So be grateful for the awareness. That's all. And don't blame yourself and run yourself down. That's not going to help you. Just say thank you for the awareness. Thank you for the next step. So if you are really willing to change your thinking, and I wrote that very sarcastically because, well, not sarcastically, but a bit in your face, because people say, yes, they want to change their thinking, but they don't change their thinking. And I've been that person myself. That's why I'm saying this. As much as I knew my thoughts about that job were wrong, I still was thinking them. Or sometimes you have thoughts about a person who drives you nuts. You know you should forgive them and you want to forgive them, but you still enjoy those thoughts of, they're driving me nuts. So if you're really willing to change your thinking, the good news is you have the power to change your life. So think about that. Make an effort to change your thinking. Now, one of the greatest books I've ever read, and I've read it about 3 times over, it's amazing, and he's one of my favorite people in the whole world, is James Allen. It's a bit long, but please just bear with me and read. This is very powerful. I've got 2 quotes here of his. He says, man is made or unmade by himself. In the armory of thoughts, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. So in the armory of thoughts, he forges the weapons by which he destroys himself. No one else is destroying a man. It's his own thoughts. He also fashions the tools with which he builds for himself heavenly mansions of joy and strength and peace. By the right choice and true application of thought, man ascends to the divine perfection. And also, by the abuse and wrong application of thought, he descends below the level of the beast. Between these 2 extremes are all the grades of character, and man is their maker and master. Very powerful words. We can kill ourselves or make ourselves or break ourselves. And then this, of course, is one of the quotes that I love probably the most, especially with people who complain about their life situations but do not change. It says, man is anxious to improve his circumstances but unwilling to improve himself. He therefore remains bound. This is a great quote. You should write this down. I memorized this years ago, and every time I was unhappy, I used to tell myself, it's not them that have to change, it's you. It's not that thing that has to change, it's me. It's always us. We need to get that in our heads. We need to understand when we improve our circumstances, you're not going to change other people. We're not meant to change other people. That's not what we're here for. It's not our job. We're only here to change ourselves. But if we're unwilling to improve ourselves and change, we remain bound. So the power is within you. Your thoughts are powerful. Your inner voice is powerful. It will make you, it will break you. So choose your thoughts carefully and learn to develop mind control. Your mind, my friends, is the most powerful asset you have in your life. Okay, so your life is a reflection of your thoughts. If you change your thinking, you change your life. So start today affirming positive thoughts about yourself. Stop running yourself down. Use the Silva method, cancel technique. For those who don't know it, it's very simple. If you say a negative thing about yourself, just say cancel, and reframe it in a positive statement straight away. For example, nothing's working out for me. Cancel. Somehow, some way, with my new awareness, I can make positive changes, whatever it may be. So here's a couple of affirmations that I've just found on the internet, and I just want you to close your eyes, all of you. This is not the meditation part, it's just the presentation part, but just close your eyes and feel how this feels. I'm going to say the affirmation, just repeat it in your own voice, in your own head, and there's a lot of them. So by the time I come to the end, if you feel a change within you, just repeating these affirmations mentally. So here we go. Take a deep breath, just to exhale and just relax, and repeat mentally after me. I am smart. I am capable. I am talented and gifted. I am a beautiful human being. I love to learn. I strive to improve myself. Every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. I am successful. I am disciplined. I'm honest and trustworthy. The truth is important to me. I am a leader. I can achieve anything. I never give up. I am blessed. I am courageous. I am calm, relaxed, and peaceful. I am a winner. I am limitless. I have persistence. I believe in myself. I am the best I can be. I am a great listener. I am strong and healthy. I love challenges. I believe in my dreams. I choose to be happy. Life is beautiful and I enjoy every moment. I feel confident. I'm grateful. Okay, so open your eyes. How did it feel? Just tell me how did it feel. Did it feel foreign? Did it feel normal? Did it feel good? How did it feel?
Amazing. Really good.
Did it feel good saying that?
Mm.
Cool. So I can send you this, or I can post it on Facebook or something. Just if the truth is, if we repeated these affirmations to ourselves every day, this would all become your reality more and more. It's not in a day instant thing, but a little bit by little bit by little bit over time, it's who you become. You become what you think about. Okay. Lastly, you're a marvelous, welcome Marie Jean-Claude and Maria on the call as well. Welcome, guys. So coming towards the end now, you're a marvelous being. You really are. You're an amazing creation, a miracle of creation. It says that you are a beautiful creation, perfectly imperfect. Now, what that means, let me explain. Your true being, who you really are, you're a physical extension of source energy. You're first and foremost a spiritual being that's infinite, eternal. That infinite, spiritual, non-physical part of you is perfect. It's not your mind, your personality, or your body. It's your spiritual essence. It is perfect. It's created perfectly. It cannot be anything but perfect. It's a physical extension of God, a physical extension of source. We are programmed imperfectly. Our conditioning is imperfect. Our human conditioning. how we were raised, the influences of everything, our teachers, our school, the media, have created all these limiting beliefs and things that get us all stuck in our lives. But never forget that you're a perfect created, you're a perfect being. You are perfect. And when I say perfect, it means you have everything you need to create anything you'll ever want. That non-physical part of you is creative. This is our lives. We're creating our lives with our non-physical part of us, with our thoughts and our intentions. So what I mean by this is you are resourced fully to create the life that you want. So you're a beautiful creation, perfectly imperfect, a work in progress. Love yourself as you are right now, here today. Nothing is wrong or short with you. Even if your awareness is you need to change or something in your life needs to change, that's perfect. Be grateful right here and now for the awareness. Don't blame, don't be upset, don't see the gap. Be grateful for where you are right now. You've everything you need to fulfill your purpose. Don't dilute yourself for any person or any reason. You are truly enough. Be unapologetically you. I love that quote. Okay, so what's your voice within saying? This is the last slide of the presentation. Practice mind control. More than anything, remember your mind is your most powerful asset. What are your thoughts? Be aware as much as you possibly can every day. If you're having negative thoughts, and the best way that you can become aware is this. You can only feel two ways. What are they? You're all unmuted. You can only feel two. Whoops. You can only feel two ways. How are they? How can you feel?
Good or bad?
Perfect. You can only feel good or bad. Thank you, Julian. So whenever you're feeling bad, that's your cue. You're off track. Mind control. Get your thoughts right. Cancel. Bring a positive affirmation in. Bring up that card. Repeat a positive affirmation over and over and over. Change your energy. Change your thoughts. The next thing is practice self-love. You want a strange tip? Laugh at me if you want. Every time you pass a mirror, or in the morning you look in the mirror in the bathroom, or past a shop window, or you're sitting somewhere, or in the car, look in the review. Every time you look in the mirror, look in the eyes and just tell yourself, I really love you. And as weird as it is, and as strange as it might be at first, just trust me. Just continue with that until you feel more comfortable. Just continue with that until you get to the point where you look at yourself in the eyes and you think, you know what, I really do love you, and look how far you've come. Every time you look at yourself, say it. No one's going to change the self-love except you. There's no one else who's going to do this for you. You are the master of your own fate. We have to love ourselves. And just by the way, someone once said to me that they loved a person so much when they looked in their eyes, they were looking in the eyes of God. And I thought that was the most beautiful expression. Actually makes me emotional just to say it. When you look at your own eyes, who do you think are behind those eyes? Who created you? So think of that when you look in your own eyes, and that might help you get to that thing of self-love. Practice forgiveness of others, practice forgiveness of yourself, and practice positive self-talk. So my friends, that is the end of this lesson. Are there any comments or any questions that you have? Any comments? Any questions? Yes, go, Cindy.
No, it's like you say, you do know this, but you do grasp it, but are you practicing it?
Yeah.
Did you hear me?
Yes, I did. You said you do know this, you do grasp it, but do we practice it? Exactly. And that's why it may seem sometimes that the message might be similar, or I'm banging on the same drum. From my own life, in my own experience, I can't tell you how many times I had to listen to the same message to change. It takes time. It's a work in progress. The good news is this. John Maxwell says, if you change 1% a week, Just improve by 1% from where you are. Just 1% a week. You'll be 50% better in a year. If you did more than that, even better. So it's a work in progress. Just be gentle on yourselves. Don't run yourselves down. Don't blame yourselves. Whatever's right, whatever's wrong, especially whatever's wrong, don't blame yourselves. Just have an appreciation for the awareness. And, do whatever you need to do. Meditate, pray, whatever works for you. But work on yourselves and stay positive. Okay, so we've come to the part where we're going to do a guided meditation. It's about 10, 15 minutes at the most. Just to reset the body, reset the mind for the month ahead, clear our energy, all the stuff that we don't want, we're going to clear it out. And then we're going to set the intention for the month ahead. Now, we are in November. It is towards the end of the year. This is an important month. There's a lot that needs to be done if we've got goals for this year that we need to wrap up and get done for this year. So what do you want to focus on for this month? I'm just going to mute some of these lines. Then what I'd like you to do is I'm going to ask you a couple of questions in the meditation, and you're going to tune into your higher self to get the answer. So the ones who've done this before know what it's about. The new ones on the call, just to explain. Sit in the meditation with a pen and paper on your lap. Close your eyes and go into the meditation as it's guided. At the very, very end, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. Whatever comes to mind, just write it down. Open your eyes and write it down. Don't judge it. Don't question it. Just write it down. And when you come out the meditation, you can think about what came out for you. And the reason I do this is just to help people understand that the greatest advice you will ever get is from your own higher self. Better than any therapist, coach, or mentor is from yourself. If you are in a state of deep relaxation in meditation, in a state where your brain waves are very slow and your conscious mind is shut down, that's where your wisdom and intuition and guidance comes from. Okay, so I'm going to put the camera off. Okay, let me first, while the cameras are all on, tell me you can hear this. Is it too loud, too soft? Just go thumbs if it's okay. All right. I'm going to stop the video. Just find yourself a comfortable position. Get a pen and paper on your lap. If you want to turn your cameras up or things, you can do whatever you want. I'm not watching you, so don't worry about me. In fact, I'm going to put the videos all off on the recording. There's no one on the screen. So as you get comfortable, just hold that pen and paper in a position that's easy for you, that you can just write and just close your eyes and get back into meditation. And after you get the question at the end and write it down, then you just take a deep breath and just return to your calm, peaceful, centered state. And if you don't get answers, guys, great. There's no right or wrong. If you do, great. If you don't, great. It's always great. Doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong. The purpose is to relax and just really trust the process. Just relax as much as you can. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do first is just to take a deep belly breath in the lower part of your body. Not so much in your chest, but more in your belly below. Take a deep belly breath, expanding to all the corners of your belly, and let out a long exhale. So your eyes should all be closed now. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, allow the tensions in your body just to release and float away. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, begin to feel your body relaxing. Feel the tension leaving your scalp. Feel the tension leaving your forehead. Relax your eyes and the tissues around your eyes. Relax your cheeks. Relax your tongue and jaw. Relax your neck. Take a deep breath, and as you exhale, just drop your shoulders, relax your shoulders. And then relax your arms all the way down to your hands. Take another deep breath. And as you exhale, feel the tension leaving your back. Relax your chest. Relax your abdomen. Relax your pelvic area. Take another deep breath and allow the tension to leave your hips and your thighs. Relax your thighs. Relax your knees. Relax your calves. Relax your feet. All the way down to your toes. Continue breathing deeply, slowly, and rhythmically. You are now experiencing a deep state of relaxation. It is a wonderful feeling to be deeply relaxed. You are now going to create in your mind an ideal place of relaxation. It can be real or imagined, somewhere you've been or somewhere perhaps that you'd like to go. But allow it to be a place where you feel totally relaxed. Begin to experience this place right now. Take your time. Now that you've created your ideal place of relaxation, you're going to add a waterfall of white light into the scene. Place this waterfall of white light wherever you choose. The waterfall is gentle, allowing you to stand under the cascading white light. The light is healing energy, a clearing energy. Your waterfall of light is now created. Walk over to the waterfall and stand under the white healing light. Allow the white light to swirl around you, encompassing you within its glow. Feel this white light clearing the stress, clearing the tension and the clutter of the day, clearing the stress, tension, and clutter of the week, of the previous month, of the year. Feel this healing light clearing the stress, tension, and clutter of the lifetime from your energy field or from your atmosphere or your aura. As this light clears your energy, notice how much happier you look. Experience yourself feeling all that stress and tension cleared away, and see how much happier you look. Take your time. Notice the smile on your face. See how the weights that you've been carrying are no longer a burden. Notice how your energy field is expanding out as you are radiating love. This waterfall of light is always available to you whenever you need it. All you need to do is close your eyes and imagine your ideal place of relaxation and immerse yourself in this beautiful healing white light. Now, take a deep breath, relax even deeper, and mentally repeat these beneficial statements to yourself. Every day, in every way, I am getting better, better, and better. Positive thoughts, suggestions, and images bring me benefits and advantages I desire. I will always maintain a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. The following statements are for your better health. Keep in mind that from now on, I will occasionally be speaking in your place. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every cell, tissue, organ, and system of my body is revitalized, restored, and renewed, resulting in a perfectly healthy body, mind, and immune system. I'm able to function in harmony physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to promote maximum benefits. My awareness in using my mind allows me to do activities that promote increased health physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now imagine the white light turns to green. You are now immersed in a glowing green light. This green light is unconditional love. It surrounds you. It encompasses you. It flows through your entire being. It fills you with love. all those hurts you felt, all those pains you felt, the angry moments. Allow this green light, this unconditional love, to heal all those spaces now. You are an amazing human being. You deserve love. You deserve joy. You deserve abundance. And you deserve peace. Tell yourself you're worthy of experiencing love, joy, abundance, and peace. It is now time to step out of the waterfall. Step out of the waterfall of light. Your energy field is now clean and clear. You are centered and energized. You are able to think more clearly, focus more easily. You are in the flow of universal love and energy. Take a moment now to bask in this feeling of connectedness. You have now reset your body and mind for the month. It is now time to set your intention for the month ahead, the month of November. We're going to tune in to your higher wisdom. You are going to tune in to your higher self. That part of you that, if you tuned in, guides you and intuitively knows what is best for you. I'm going to do a countdown from 10 to 1, and when we reach the count of 1, you will have tuned in to your higher self, that part of you that intuitively knows what is best for you. 10, 9, 8, feel going deeper, 7, 6, deeper and deeper, 5, 4, 3, deeper and deeper, 2, 1. You are now tuned in to your higher self, to your own inner wisdom, the part of you that intuitively knows what is best for you. Feel the alignment with your higher self. Feel the connection. And now ask yourself the following questions. What do I need to focus on for the month of November? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. Then take a deep breath and close your eyes and re-enter your meditative calm state. What do I need to focus on for the month of November? Now for the second question, ask yourself, what steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? What steps do I need to take me closer to what I want to be, do, or have? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. And then take a breath and re-enter your meditative state. The next question is, what do I need to let go of? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. What do I need to let go of? And the last question we're going to ask ourselves is, what do I need to embrace? What do I need to embrace? Whatever comes to mind, write it down. Now allow a deep breath, and as you exhale, relax. Slowly bring your attention back to your body. Gently wiggle your fingers and toes. When you feel ready, you can count yourself out from 1 to 5. And at the count of 5, open your eyes, have a big stretch. Feel strong and healthy and well and better than before. Blessings to you, my friends. Okay, welcome back, everybody. How are you all? Good.
Good.
Excellent. So did anyone get any answers that they found interesting or helpful or surprising?
Yeah.
You can share if you want. If you don't, you can just say, I got some, but I don't want to share, so we know where we stand.
I got forgiveness, trust, and determination.
Wow. Did any of that surprise you, Julian?
No. Like, a little bit, but I got a really warm feeling and like Yeah, it's good.
Forgiveness, trust. Excellent. Anyone else want to share? Yes, no?
Anne-Marie here.
Hello, my dear. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. Better and better.
It's always lovely to hear your voice.
Mine was the affirmation to remind yourself daily that you need to forgive yourself. So just to keep affirming.
Yes. Very good. Very true. Very necessary and very helpful. Anything else? Anyone else? You laughing, Nancy? You want to share something maybe?
I got mind, body, and myself, which is really bizarre, but yeah.
Yourself is what you need to let go of or embrace.
Embrace.
Oh, what do you need to let go of?
Oh, yeah, hold on a sec. Sorry, I didn't write that one down. I've only got two, and then I got the last one.
Okay. Was that helpful?
Kinda, yeah. It makes sense.
You know what it means.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, how did you go, Cindy? This is your first time doing this with me. Oh, I can't hear you at all. Hold on. Let me just check. You're not muted, so I can't hear you. Just talk again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes?
Okay. Yes, I did get things, but I'd like to keep it to myself.
Okay. No, that's absolutely fine. But did you get anything helpful?
Yes, definitely.
All right. So does anyone else want to share before we end off? No? Okay. So it's just really to remind ourselves that we do have answers within, and you can practice this anytime on your own. And as I say, these recordings are available. You can fast forward to the meditation if you just want to do that within a month. But when you go into meditation, and ask yourself questions, you do get really good insightful answers for yourself. So next month, Meaningful Monday is going to be on the 4th of December. The subject for that one is going to be reflection for growth. And it's perfect because December is the end of 2017. So I'm going to talk about reflection for growth and how that can help you in your life. But I'm also going to do a bit of that with you in the lesson. So it'll be a little bit interactive or like a bit of a workshop-y thing for you. And you might learn a technique that you may use every day, every week, every month, every year, every decade of your life, which could be helpful. And then just to remind you all that the next event coming up is the Silva Method live training on the 16th to the 19th of November. Julian's in the class. Yee! I'm very happy about that. That's really awesome. And the 4 key skills to take charge of your life is probably one presentation that most of you on this call have heard before. Anytime you want to join again, you can. Repetition is how we learn. Spaced repetition over time. So you can always listen in again, learn something new, ask questions, or you can share it with someone who you might think needs this more than you in your life. And what the 4 key skills are that take charge of your life are there on the screen, just as a reminder. The first foundation of all self-help and improvement is learning how to manage stress and remain calm and focused, even under pressure. That's your foundation for improvement, number 1. And then how to get clear on your goals, how to achieve them, how to overcome limiting beliefs we talk about, and how to make better decisions, and how to recognize the right opportunities for us in our life by looking at or accessing our creativity and intuition. Okay, so 6th of December is the 4 key skills at 7:30 to 9. And that's really it. If you want any more information, visit the website or share that with anyone else. Otherwise, my friends, I'm going to stop the recording so we can all say good night.